Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time on a Thursday night. Last show of the primetime week before we get off and rolling. There is been more injury developments. It's crazy to say that there would be yet more injury developments around the Tennessee Titans, but the two in the last couple of days. One made official today, the other one still kind of lingering in the backdrop. Two Titans who have been critical to this team's success as a franchise. We may well have seen them play their last game as Tennessee Titans. And I wanted to take a moment to talk about that because I do think it is that both players are fairly significant for different reasons. But we're certainly going to discuss that throughout the course of tonight's show. We will also talk about Pro Bowl snubs, because that is something that's going around right now. One in particular that I thought was kind of terrible, pretty egregious, as a matter of fact, that we will discuss. And because it is the last show of the primetime week, a weekend bounce back is how we will wrap things up before we get you guys out of here for the holidays. Before we get started, though, I need you guys to share this show on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, and on Twitch. If you are hanging out with us there, you can retweet the show in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. We would be grateful for that. Consider it your Christmas present to me to retweet the show in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. If you are on Facebook Live like Kenneth Davidson or Darren Ossie, you can share now to public. That's in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. If you are on YouTube or on Twitch like Joe Hathan, or just Chris is what it says, telling us that the Jags have a 10-3 lead. Yes, I've got TNF up on my screen right now. You can like the video. You can subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already, and we would be grateful for you that way. Jets trying to make a play here in the second quarter. They're trailing 10-3. You could really use a Zach Wilson win tonight, but I don't know. He looks pretty terrible at this point. Either way, let's go ahead and get the primetime show started. Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time from the Superbook Sports Studios. I'm your host, Buck Rising, and I am proud, as always, to be presented to you by the fine folks at TrueMath Fitness. TrueMath Fitness, get your fitness goals started. Don't wait till January 1st. Don't wait for New Year's resolutions. Get started now, and you will feel better about the progress that you're able to make. Your first workout is free as a Middle Tennessee resident at TrueMathFitness.com, so go sign up today. Two Rivers Ford, the best car buying experience around. 2023 model year Fords available to you right now at Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet or online at tworiversford.com. Gary Ashton and the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage. The Intel edge you need to succeed, it's all right there for you at GaryAshton.com. And whether it's Thursday night football, Saturday football, Sunday football, whatever you desire, Superbook Sports will be there for you to get in on all the action. So download the Superbook app today. They'll match your first bet up to $1,000, win or lose. So we know that this team, this particular Titans team, has been just mangled by injuries all year long. And as we talk about these things, obviously the first place that the discussion goes to, Corey Davis showing some frustration with his quarterback on 3rd and 21. That looks familiar. But the first place that the discussion goes to is the competitiveness of this football team in this season. Now, beyond that, the bigger questions about where this franchise is going moving forward is where people start to discuss, right? Because the Titans at this point, they're 7-7. They've likely lost their starting quarterback for the rest of the season. They're going to go in here with this third-round rookie who's not an NFL quarterback just yet, but you got to find out. So here's your opportunity to do so. And the offensive line is in absolute shambles, likely for the rest of the year. So now you talk about the players whose seasons are likely over. Ben Jones was placed on injured reserve today. And that seems like a really, really significant one for a variety of reasons, but we're going to talk about it together. Which Titans injury has hurt the most this season? Either hurt the team the most or hurt you personally the most, given that a lot of these guys are your favorite players. We'll talk about it together on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and on Twitch, which Titans injury has hurt the most this season? You give me your answer. We will discuss at length together right after I tell you that your Two Rivers Ford take is made possible by Two Rivers Ford. Two Rivers Ford has 2023 model year Fords available right now at the dealership. It's been a while since Two Rivers has been fully stocked, but now is the time for you to get in there and get your last-minute holiday shopping done. They always make it fast, easy, and fun for you to go through the car buying experience at Two Rivers Ford. They always offer you great rates. As far as financing is concerned, they also sell all new non-specialty Ford vehicles below MSRP. It's the way they've been doing business in Middle Tennessee for coming up on 40 years. Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet or online at tworiversford.com. So which Titans injury has hurt you the most? Lawan says Leo, as does the one and only Foots on YouTube. Lawan for Eugene Edwards. Daddy Hot Drops. I love reading some of these YouTube names. Says has to be Autry. Haven't won a game since he got hurt. Darren says Lawan. SCP on YouTube says Ben's injury hurts me. Puts 1,000. He gives 1,000% no matter what the case may be. And I do think it's near impossible to go with, like, yes, Lawan is critically important. Lawan is critically important because of how much easier he makes your life in your drop back passing game. Obviously, Danico Autry is critically important. Danico Autry is the, I've made this comment earlier, but the straw that stirs your pass rushes drink at this point. He provides, he creates on his own, he creates for other players. He's a critically important point or part of that defense. But I think the one that really resonates the most is probably Ben Jones, because Ben is probably in the conversation. Delanie Walker is the best free agent signing in the history of the Titans franchise. But Ben Jones is probably right there at 1B to Delanie's 1A, because Ben has made so much easier to work around him and has been consistently available. It's just that this year his body is failing him. And, you know, it almost seems like it's for his own good that they put him on injured reserve and likely ended his season.
I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything like it. I love you like my... No. You hear me? I mean, I've never seen anything like it. Okay?
So Ben is the man. There's no question. Ben Jones is a phenomenal human being. He's a phenomenal teammate. He is highly respected across the league, and he puts his body through absolute hell week in and week out, right? So they shut him down today. They put him on injured reserve, and Ben's season, he would then at that point miss the next 3 games and at least the wild card round should the Titans make the playoffs. If they were to advance beyond the wild card round, Ben Jones would theoretically be able to return, but you know, those are all very, very speculative conversations. Lawan makes a big difference, yes. And yes, I think you can make the argument that Ben Jones is as important as Lawan, because yes, things are bad without Taylor, but things would be much, much worse without Ben. And we'll see. We'll see how this plays out. But I mean, that Vrabel clip is just a small part of how much he means to the football team. And obviously his position is as important as any not named quarterback. When you talk to scouts, when you talk to coaches, people place a very, very high priority on a good center, and Ben Jones is exactly the reason why. A to Z Sports Prime Time is made possible by our friends at TrueMav Fitness. TrueMav Fitness is where you go to get in on your workout opportunities, to get in on their great group classes, boot camp style. I really enjoy them. If you're somebody who likes to be engaged, to maximize your workout, to maximize the efficiency of your workout, to push yourself without overexerting yourself, TrueMav Fitness is going to design the plan that makes the most sense for you. They have any number of membership options. You can just try out their classes for yourself if you're not sure at TrueMathFitness.com. Your first workout is free as a Middle Tennessee resident. No workout is ever recycled or reused. They keep your body constantly adapting to the movements and the physical rhythms that are going to help you continue to maximize your fitness goals. TrueMathFitness.com for your first workout free and to find out more about their membership options. So, who has hurt? Which injury has cost the team the most? Because there's two different things, right? There's the player that hurt you personally the most, which I know Ben Jones is going to be a lot of your answers. And there's the player whose absence hurt the team the most. It's probably Taylor. At the end of the day, it's probably Lawan. If Lawan was healthy, now obviously Lawan wasn't healthy, and they weren't able to get hardly anything at all out of him. So it's not really, you can't say that Taylor would be completely back to normal if you're operating under the assumption that Taylor would be completely back to normal, and obviously he wasn't, right? The knee still giving him considerable problems. So MB says Henry should fake an injury. Who wants to run behind that nonsense that's going to be on the field on Sunday? Yeah, it's really, really bad right now. The injuries are really, really bad, and I think that for a lot of people, you are looking at a situation where, okay, they're being forced into a bit of a sooner than expected rebuild, right? You didn't expect to have to retool and rebuild in the middle of a season or at the end of a season while you're trying to make the playoffs, and you've just blown 4 games in a row. But that's kind of what they're being forced into doing, and at some point they have to find out. It's just that they're going to have to find out in a way that seems like it could be very unpleasant for them. And I don't know how much winning is in their future. I don't know if the playoffs are still in their future, but certainly Malik Willis is going to have the opportunity to try and make some plays and show that he belongs on this roster beyond 2022. Eric Castillo says, "Hey Buck, can you sing Merry Christmas, Jackie?" Yes. Merry Christmas, Jackie. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy holidays to each and every one of you, by the way. I don't remember to say stuff like that a lot, but I hope you have a fantastic time away with friends and family as we continue with the primetime show. I hope that you guys have a spectacular holiday season. I hope if you're going to the game on Christmas Eve, you come say hi, because obviously I'll be there. And I hope you guys really, really enjoy whatever time. I hope you get some downtime, some time off. And certainly we'll be back here waiting for you, ready to rock, because we're not going anywhere, or at least I'm not going anywhere. Reed is going to take some much needed time away, a couple of days at the very least. But Reed, unfortunately, is going to be dragged along for the ride on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve with us at this point. So, the no rest for the wicked, at least in my case. Ben Hall says the season has gone from us being 7-3 to feeling dead inside and not wanting to see game action take place. Well, I can't, I don't know. I don't feel dead inside, but like I said, it doesn't affect me nearly as much as I imagine it affects you. At this point, I'm not crazy about the idea of spending my Christmas Eve watching a shitty football team, which is what they are right now and what they've been for the past month and change. But, duty calls, I'll be there. So if I've got to be there, I assume you guys are going to at least watch a portion of it. And as long as you guys are interested, that's what we'll keep talking about. And certainly the sooner an off season gets here, the sooner an off season gets here, the sooner we can talk about trying to fix this thing. Chris Johnson says, better Eskimo up, Buck. I am going to be bundled, but I'm literally only going to be outside for 5 minutes. Like the 5 minutes that it takes me to walk from my car into the press box is the only time that I'm going to be out in the elements. Normally I'll go down in the lower bowl and take some video and pictures pregame. But no. No, once I get the press box and there's a whole media lounge full of food and coffee and things that are not freezing cold and bitter temperatures, I am going to. But if you need a cup of coffee from the press box, I'll be happy to bring you one down. Just that'll be my Christmas gift to you. Big B says, can't just be a fan of the good, got to stand in the shit sometimes. Yeah, but this is different than like the shit. Like this is okay, it was going good, but now you kind of shit the bed, right? It's a little bit of a different feeling. And you're entitled to be whatever kind of fan you're entitled to be whatever kind of fan you want to be, right? You can be a bandwagon fan if you want to. Sounds like a much easier way to exist. You can be a diehard fan if you want to. It sounds like a very it sounds like a very miserable existence, to be honest with you, but as you like. You're allowed to root for or against your team in as many different ways as humanly possible. But there's been plenty of bad football that the Titans have played. There'll be plenty more bad football. There'll be plenty of good football in the future. These things are cyclical. And right now we're at the end of a particular cycle, it seems, for this team. So let's talk about Pro Bowl snubs, because there's one in particular that popped off the screen to me. Who was the biggest Pro Bowl snub this year? We'll talk about it together on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and on Twitch. We will discuss at length together. Hey, Buck, how empty will the stadium be on Saturday, says William Jones. I honestly have no idea. I have no idea what the crowd is going to look like at this point. I know that I'm going to be there. I can't speak for anybody else, but I have a feeling there will be people there, even for no other reason than, like, if you forgot to get Christmas presents, just buy a bunch of cheap Titans-Texans tickets and be like, hey, let's go freeze our asses off and watch two bad football teams play. That'll be fun. But, sell it better than I just sold it. Sell it as, oh, you're going to an NFL game, a divisional game, a game with meaningful stakes in December for a team that's on the verge of the postseason. Sell it that way, and then buy them the cheap tickets for the Titans and Texans to cover up the fact that you waited too long to do your Christmas shopping like I did. I still haven't done my Christmas shopping. It's in 2 days. Anyway, we will talk about the Pro Bowl snubs together right after I remind you that A to Z Sports Prime Time is made possible. By the way, Jags doing their job. The Jets are not helping you at this point. Jags looking like they're going to be able to close this thing out. On Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and on Twitch, the Primetime Show is presented by the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage. The intel edge you need to succeed. That's what Gary Ashton offers to you. The dream address without the stress is what the Ashton team can help you get. They will help you sell your home without any showings or staging. They'll help you find your next home while the real estate market is still popping. They'll help you win the buyer battle and cash in on your home equity right now. GaryAshton.com, the team that your favorite teams trust in the real estate world. Go to GaryAshton.com to get that intel edge. So, as we look at the Pro Bowl snubs, who was the biggest one at this point? Let's see. How our long snapper makes it, but not the punter, says Jonathan Ertl. I just think you have the most famous long snapper. Like, Morgan Cox has been in the league for literally 100 years. Steven 1986 says Byard was snubbed. KB's not really having a Pro Bowl season. I mean, he's not been bad by any stretch of the imagination, but he's not good. I mean, that's not true. Byard has been good. He's not been Pro Bowl great. I didn't see which safeties did get into the Pro Bowl over Kevin Byard, so that would be curious at this point. Stoney says Corey D. Jackson, and it ain't even close. Stone Hizzy says Troy Wood, talking about Ryan Stonehouse, the Titans punter. Yes, he should be in the Pro Bowl situation. He was the best punter in the NFL by many, many metrics. He has that. Now, they do have a lot of return yards against them, which I don't think is insignificant, because he doesn't really do the directional thing well just yet. But Ryan Stonehouse was by far away the biggest snub. Now, the Pro Bowl is largely stupid, and they've even changed it from being a true football game at this point. But it's cool to see the way that players react. Obviously, there's contract incentives involved for making the Pro Bowl, and it's a big deal for guys who, may not be on great teams, but are going to have the opportunity to be honored for having great successes in a particular season, as was evidenced by the Commanders. A few of the Commanders players finding out that they were going to the Pro Bowl today.
Hold on. Wait till we finish here, okay?
Ooh, my bad, Coach. Sorry
Jim,
about
give me a
that.
second, Jim. I got to talk to you.
I didn't even knock. I apologize.
What's up, Coach?
Hey, Terry.
How you doing?
Listen, congratulations, you're a Pro Bowl player.
Oh my gosh, you got me.
No, congratulations.
Oh, thank you, Coach.
No, I'm very proud, very happy.
Thank you.
Congratulations,
For
Pro Bowl player.
Oh, dope. That's
Yes,
what's up.
you are, man. I'm proud of you.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You earned it.
Yes, sir.
That's freaking awesome.
So how cool is that, right? The Pro Bowl doesn't really matter anymore, but I mean, you could argue that it hasn't mattered in a very long time, but it does still matter to some of these guys. So, rightly or wrongly, Stonehouse didn't make it, and I do think that's a pretty big snub. All right, let's wrap this up with a weekend bounce back here on A to Z Sports Primetime, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Why don't you tell me who needs to bounce back the most in sports this weekend? It may even be your local professional football team. We'll talk about it together right after I remind you that Primetime is presented by Superbook Sports. Get in on the action with your Superbook Sports app. You can download it today. You can wager on all the football, all the basketball, hockey, whatever you desire. Every major sport is available to get great odds boost and promo bets on in the Superbook Sports app. So download it today. Find out how clean and easy to use it is, how much fun you'll have when they match your first bet up to $1,000, win or lose. Superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789. The weather looks horrendous in New York for this Thursday night football game. The Jags driving right now up 13-3 with under 2 minutes to play in the first half. But as the Titans look to bounce back themselves, who needs to bounce back? T-Vaughn says it's actually the Titans. It is correct. Who needs to bounce back the most in sports? Mr. Jones says the Titans. The offensive line needs a bounce back, says Josh. Bounce back if they are led. Yeah, the offensive line. I mean, it's not even the same offensive line that's going to start this week as did last week. It's going to be Ben Jones and Nate Davis are already ruled out. Dylan Radins is already put on IR. There's probably going to be a third offensive line that misses some time at this point, but it's a really, really tough scene. So we'll see how this goes. I think my bounce back candidate, though, is every local sports television anchor that got called in this weekend from their normal job of doing sports to do the weather, because this looks like my personal hell.
Mark, how you feeling out there?
Again, the same way I felt about 8 minutes ago when you asked me that same question, right? I normally do sports. Everything is canceled here for the next couple of days. So what better time to ask the sports guy to come in about 5 hours earlier than he would normally wake up, go stand out in the wind and the snow and the cold and tell other people not to do the same. I didn't even realize that there was a 3:30 also in the morning until today. It's absolutely fantastic, Ryan. I'm used to these evening shows that are only 30 minutes long, and generally on those shows I'm inside. So this is a really long show. Tune in for the next couple hours to watch me progressively get crankier and crankier. How do I get that Storm Chaser 7 duty? I feel like Clint got the better end of that deal. That thing's heated. The outdoors currently is not heated. Well, I'll tell you what, Ryan, I've got good news and I've got bad news. The good news is that I can still feel my face right now. The bad news is I kind of wish I couldn't. Can I go back to my regular job? I'm pretty sure, Ryan, that you guys added an extra hour to this show just because somebody likes torturing me, because compared to 2.5 hours ago, it is just getting colder and colder. Live in Waterloo for the last time this morning, thankfully, I'm Mark Woodley, News 7 KWWL.
Yeah, that would be a tough scene. So a bounce back for every local sports person who got called in to do the weather this week. It's going to do it for us this week on A to Z Sports Primetime. Thank you guys, as always, for hanging out. Like I said, have a spectacular holiday. I'm on radio tomorrow. We'll do a Titan. Well, actually, I don't think we're doing the Christmas Eve morning pregame show, to the best of my knowledge. But producer Reed, I will track that information down for you. If nothing else, I'll talk to you on Titans Radio on Saturday with Blaine Bishop and Mickey Ryan, and we will enjoy our time together that way. Then we'll cover this Texans game and see what there is to see between the Titans and the Texans at this point. Like I said, love you guys. Have a spectacular holiday. We'll talk to you when everybody gets back in the swing of things next week on A to Z Sports Prime Time.
Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. It ain't warm when she goes away. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone, and she's always gone too long. Anytime she goes